A question that I saw come up recently was, does anyone know why certain blocks become unavailable when creating new or editing existing presets? The user noted that while they were creating a preset, a couple of the pedals couldn't be selected, were grayed out. They said it seemed random, but I'm sure there's a valid reason. There is a valid reason, and it's to do with processor power.
Computer says no.
I'm going to show you how this happens right now. So to start, I'm going to add 2 half stacks. British 800 will do for one of them, and I will also add a 5153. Next, I'm going to add an overdrive pedal. Let's take the Maximus drive. Then let's add a delay, and I'm going to choose a stereo delay. Let's take the space delay. Now, the amps are all grayed out because I've already selected the maximum number of combo amps or half stacks that you can use. If you're using amp heads, you can have usually up to 3 and sometimes 4, depending on what the combination is. Have we got any effect? We can see now that the effects are starting to get grayed out. The Nashville overdrive, super drive there, you can see all of these are grayed out. The octave fuzz, triple chorus. So what's happening here is that the Fender developers have chosen a certain CPU usage limit, that when that happens, there's a certain point where it's going to overload the processors and you're going to have a degraded guitar tone. You might have some stuttering or dropping out. We don't want this to happen. So it's probably quite conservative, but it's also necessary. One effect that's particularly processor intensive is the reverb convolution. The 63 spring reverb convolution and the 65 spring reverb convolution. So if I was to remove this Maximus drive, you can see I can now select this reverb. Let's take the 65 reverb convolution and put it where you would normally have it. Once again, you can see a lot of effects are not available. If I was to add an overdrive pedal back into the start of the chain, you can now see that every effect is grayed out. There's no indication anywhere in the UI that we've hit this ceiling for the processor. You can only see it if you go in and try and add new effects. So how do you remedy this? Well, in this particular case, if you have these 2 amps set up and you want to switch between them, the only way that you're going to be able to do this if you want to add another effect is to set them up as separate presets, one with the EVH, one with the British 800, and then you would switch between those 2 presets. Now with the Toneml Master Pro, you can actually do that. So you can switch between 2 presets. It doesn't have any delay, there's no latency, and it immediately will work. Fender have always said since the start that you can switch between presets instead of having scenes. So you can treat a preset as a scene. It's not quite the same, I don't agree with that, but it is a possibility. You can then remove one of these amps. Let's remove the Brit 800. And that frees up the processor, and suddenly you can add more effects in, no problem. So then you would save this to, say, my 462 empty preset slot. Then you would save it again to 461, and then replace the amp from the 5150 to the 800 that I had before, and then save that again. So just to illustrate this, you would save this preset as 462 and we'll call it EVH. You would then save it again, but save it to 461 and we'll call it Brit 800. And then you would change the amp to your British 800 in this preset, hit save again. And now you can quickly switch between the 2 presets using the foot switches. So that will be the same as if you had the 2 amps set in the same preset and you were using a foot switch to switch between the 2. But now you have all this extra processor power that you can assign more effects. I hope you found this information useful, and I'll see you in the next video.